We're ready to go with our second match. Don Genalo against Ballard Jr. of Richardson, Texas. Winner of the U.S. Open, the Masters, and Firestone.
Come on.
Ballard coming in light on the left-hand lane. He has a good feel of this championship pair, Chris. And year after year, as a player comes back to the Firestone, players such as Carmen Salvino have bowled in all 26. You know the championship pair probably as well as you know any pair of lanes in the country. So Ballard knows what to do.
Marking with a spare. Been practicing off to the right and first got his practice shots prior to going into this game, but Genalo has that victory under his belt. 227 to Baker's 182, shooting first on the right lane.
You see Genalo's climb to the top 5, 48 games this week. First 3 rounds, 24 games qualifying, 24 finals.
Incidentally, we mentioned Monticelli. He finished 13th in the Firestone. Here, you're looking at what's happening with wide world of sports today. U.S. versus East Germany, women's gymnastics, all the beauty and competitive spirit of the young ladies and the thoroughbreds. Last chance in prepping for the Kentucky Derby, Bo.
Chris Housebuster, wire-to-wire winner in that Derby trial. He'll go off at about 2 to 5.
Delighted with the fact that he left only the 2-4.
Don Genalo had a 91% pocket percentage when he won the King Louis tournament in both 1983 and 1985. That means that almost every time he hits a pocket, he carries. And a very simple spare here, 2-4, all you have to do is touch that 2-pin.
Okay. Striking a spare for Genalo. Now Ballard, who opened with a spare in the first frame as a standing room only crowd looks on.
The deep inside line. Look at how far left he is on the approach.
Come on, baby.
There he is, smooth, relatively aggressive, wearing that wireless microphone.
Of the 5 players in the championship round, he has the best natural form of all players. He stays low, much like Marshall Holman, has that cuff wrist style, a long flowing slide, uses very little muscle in the shot, and when he gets cooking, he is tough.
Come on, flip, baby. Yes!
All right.
You hear him say flip, baby, and that's what he means is the ball spins about 2/3 the way down the lane, and then it flips into a roll or a hook roll at the back end. He wanted it to flip over so that that ball made that sharp break on the little bit tighter lane, lane 27. It worked perfect on that shot.
All right, a strike in the third for Don Genalo, whose last victory was in Windsor, Ontario in 1986.
Chris, Seattle Open, May 19th, and then we go on to Portland, and then 2 tournaments in Vegas, and my favorite's going to come up June 9th, jumping ahead almost a month. We'll have the seniors on ABC television. Weber, Salvino, Anthony, all the big stars of years past.
Genalo with the cheering section off to the right, begging him to do it.
Don Genalo playing a line that he's so familiar with. He cashed as an amateur in 1981 in the Long Island Open out in Garden City, Long Island, which was his home house, and then he won that tournament in '83, and that's his favorite line between the second and third arrows, straight down the line.
All right, 20 years ago at nearby Kent State University, the invasion of Cambodia triggered a tragic protest there. May 4th, students, family, guest speakers.
Set up.
Trying to get that strike to take a 20-pin lead. Coming into the frame, leading by 10, and now he has left the 3-6, 9, 10. Del Ballard all in red today, red bowling ball, and tribute to his victory last year here at Firestone.
Thank you.
Got him. Okay. Al Ballard continues to hold his lead, now by only 6. Here's Bo.
Chris, the man who will bowl the semifinal match, Tony Westlake. Tony, how'd you practice and what's your game plan?
Well, Bo, I had the right lane a little different than they were all week. I have to move my eyes a little left to keep it from hooking. You saw Mark Baker's ball go high every time he threw it to the right on the right lane, so I'm going to go a little straighter on the right lane. The left lane's about the same as they were all week.
Tough customer coming up, Chris. Still a lot left in this match.
Okay. Speaking of tough, Del Ballard, after the spare, strike in the 5th frame. This is our second game. In the first match, Don Genalo defeated Mark Baker, 227-182. Genalo with a spare working, trailing by 6. 5th frame. All right. And as Mary looks on, off to the right, you hear a pin fall. It's the man that Bo just talked to, Tony Westlake, staying loose, practice shots off on the practice lanes.
Don Genalo playing the down and in shot, and he's standing. This is the lane that it goes almost straight. He's spinning almost in the center. He'll slide on what we call the 20th board, about the center of the lane, and watch how he'll play a trajectory almost straight over the second arrow.
And that high hit, first trouble for Don Genalo. Look at that, 6, 7, 10.
Not trusting the shot, he yanks it up in the nose, has a 6, 7, 10 split. He needs to get the ball over here by the 6 pin and slide it over into the 7. Here's how he needs to make it. Roll it right over in there. The ball will do the work. Tough shot.
All right. So like in our last match, which Genalo won, Mark Baker ran into trouble. So with a 20-pin lead, Ballard can increase it to 30.
Yeah!
Which he does.
Well, that's a shot that Ballard must have right there. Kick out the 10-pin.
Dell had some injury problems, and he told us about them a little earlier.
At the beginning of the fall tour in '89, I was doing some inventory right before the first week in my pro shops, and I found 2 or 3 balls that weren't on display. I put them up on the shelf about 8 feet up, and I set them a little bit too far out. The shelf collapsed, and one of the balls landed on the lower left side of my back, and I wasn't able to bowl for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it took me about a month and a half, 2 months to get back to form.
Okay, Del Ballard with the right bowling ball today, leading by 40. More after this.
I used pressure-treated lumber, and I...
Going into the Akron Baseball Hall of Fame, and nothing can be more beautiful than his wife, Peggy.
Stayed out with those two till 11 o'clock, eating yogurt last night. Very entertaining couple. Now Genalo trails by 40, must get it going.